unto the Supreme, who has created varieties of manifestations and put them under the spell of the three qualities of the material: goodness, passion, and ignorance, in order to create, maintain, and annihilate them. He himself is not under the control of the external energy. In his personal feature, he is completely devoid of the variegated manifestation of material quality, and he is under no illusion of false identification. Okay. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Two situations are described in this verse. One is the creation, maintenance, and annihilation of the material world, and the other is the Lord's own establishment. There is also quality in the Lord's own establishment. The kingdom of God. It is stated here that Goloka is his personal situation. There is also quality in Goloka, but that quality is not divided into creation, maintenance, and annihilation. In the external energy, the interaction of the three qualities makes it possible for things to be created, maintained, and annihilated. But in the spiritual world, or the kingdom of God, there is no such exhibition, since everything is eternal, sentient, and blissful. There is a class of philosophers who misunderstand the appearance of the personality of Godhead within the material world. They are under the impression that when the Supreme Personality of Godhead appears, he is under the spell of the three qualities, like all other living entities who appear within the material world. That is their misunderstanding. As is clearly stated here, Sva Samstaya, by his internal potency, he is transcendental to all these material qualities. Similarly, in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says, I appear in my internal potency. Both the internal and external potencies are under the control of the Supreme. So he does not come under the control of either of these potencies. Rather, everything is under his control in order to manifest his transcendental name, form, quality, pastimes, and paraphernalia. He brings into action his internal energy. On account of the variegatedness of the external potency, there are manifestations of many qualitative demigods, beginning with Brahma and Lord Shiva. And people are attracted to these demigods according to their own material quality. But when one is transcendental or surpasses the material qualities, he is simply fixed in the worship of the Supreme Personality. This fact is explained in Bhagavad Gita. Anyone engaged in the service of the Lord is already transcendental to the variegatedness and interaction of the three material qualities: goodness, passion, and ignorance. The summary is that the conditioned souls are being pulled by the action and reaction of the material qualities, which create a differentiation of energies. But in the spiritual world, the worshipable one is the Supreme Lord and no one else. Haribol. Text number 40. Brahmovacha. Namaste Shuta Satvaya Dharma Dinam Cha Sutaye Nirgunaya Cha Yat Kastam Naham Veda Pure Picha. So this verse, Canto 4, Chapter 7, verse number 40 says, the personified Veda said, we offer our respectful obeisances unto you, the Lord, the shelter of the quality of goodness, and therefore the source of all religion, austerity, and penance. For you are the transcendental to all material qualities, and no one knows you or your actual situation. Okay. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. In the material world, there is the trinity of the three material qualities, goodness, passion, and ignorance. Lord Vishnu has accepted the superintendence of the quality of goodness, which is the source of religion, knowledge, austerity, renunciation, opulence, etc. Because of this, actual peace, prosperity, knowledge, and religion can be attained when the living entities are under the control of the quality of goodness in the material world. As soon as they are subjected to the control of the other two qualities, namely passion and ignorance, their precarious conditional life becomes intolerable. But Lord Vishnu, in his original position, is always nirguna, which means transcendental to these material qualities. Guna means quality, and nir means negation. This does not indicate, however, that he has no qualities. He has transcendental qualities by which he appears and manifests his pastimes. The positive transcendental the positive transcendental qualitative stalwart demigods, the positive transcendental qualitative manifestation is unknown to the students of the Vedas as well as to the great stalwart demigods like Brahma and Shiva. Actually, the transcendental qualities are manifested only to the devotees. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, simply by discharging devotional service, one can understand the transcendental position of the Supreme Lord. Those who are in the mode of goodness can partially enter into the transcendental understanding, but it is advised in Bhagavad Gita that one has to surpass this. The Vedic principles are based on three qualities, goodness, passion, and ignorance, of the material modes. One has to transcend the three qualities, and then one can be situated in a pure and simple spiritual life. Okay, goodness, passion, and ignorance. These are three qualities that control the living entities in the material world. But it is possible to become free of them. Then one transcends those qualities, which holds a person back from pure devotional service. And you transcend them by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. and associating with genuine devotees, eating only prasadam, or regularly hearing Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, and going on Sankirtan, and also hearing lectures given by bona fide devotees. Verse number 41. The fire god said, "My dear lords," so the fire god is who? Agni, said, "My dear Lord, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, because by your favor I am as luminous as blazing fire, and I accept the offerings mixed with butter and offered in sacrifice." The 5 kinds of offerings, according to Yajurveda, are all your different energies, and you are worshipped by 5 kinds of Vedic hymns. Sacrifice means your Supreme Personality of Godhead. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. In Bhagavad Gita, it is clearly said that yajna, yajna should be performed for Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu has 1,000 popular transcendental names, out of which one name yajna, out of which one name is yajna. It is clearly said that everything should be done for the satisfaction of yajna or Vishnu. All other actions a person may take are causes for his bondage. Everyone has to perform yajna according to the Vedic hymns. And as stated in the Upanishads, fire, the altar, the auspicious full moon, the hymns. I'm sorry. Everyone has to perform yajna according to the Vedic hymns. As stated in the Upanishads, fire, the altar, the auspicious full moon, the period of 4 months called Chaturmasya, the sacrificial animal, and the beverage called soma are necessary requisites, as are the specific hymns mentioned in the Vedas and composed of 4 letters. One hymn is as follows: Ashravayeti Chatur Aksharam Astu Strausad Iti Chatur Aksharam Yajati Vayam Ye Asra Vayeti Chatur Aksharam Astu Strosad Iti Chatur Aksharam Ye Jati Dvavyam Ye Yaj Maha. These mantras, chanted according to the Shruti and Smriti literatures, are only to please Lord Vishnu, for the deliverance of those who are materially conditioned and attached to material enjoyment. Performing yajna and following the rules and regulations of the 4 divisions of society and of spiritual life are recommended. It is said in the Vishnu Purana that by offering sacrifice to Vishnu, one can gradually be liberated. The whole target of life, therefore, is to please Lord Vishnu. Okay, well, that's a major statement. That is yajna. Any person who is in Krishna consciousness has dedicated his life for the satisfaction of Krishna, the origin of all Vishnu forms. And by offering worship and prasada daily, he becomes the best performer of yajna. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is clearly stated that in this age of Kali, the only successful performance of yajna or sacrifice is yajnai sankirtana parayar. The best type of sacrifice is simply to chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This yajna is offered before the form of Lord Chaitanya. And other yajnas are offered before the form of Lord Vishnu. These recommendations are found in the 11th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Moreover, this yajna performance confirms that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Vishnu himself. As Lord Vishnu appeared at the Daksha Yajna long, long ago, Lord Chaitanya has appeared in this age to accept our Sankirtan Yajna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. If the only, let's say, mantra you chant is the Hare Krishna mantra, that's the perfection of all mantras. Therefore, we should regularly chant every day Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. And that's why it says here, it says in the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is clearly stated that in this age of Kali, the only successful performance of yajna or sacrifice is yajnai sankirtana parai. The best type of sacrifice is simply to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This yajna is offered before the form of Lord Chaitanya, as other yajnas are offered before the form of Lord Vishnu. These recommendations. Okay, so this doesn't mean that you should perform yajnas offered before the form of Lord Vishnu. It's recommending here that we should uniquely chant Yajnai Sankirtana Paraya. The best type of sacrifice is simply to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This yajna is offered before the form of Lord Chaitanya, as other yajnas are offered before the form of Lord Vishnu. These recommendations are found in the 11th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Moreover, this yajna performance confirms that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Vishnu himself. As Lord Vishnu appeared at the Daksha Yajna long, long ago, Lord Chaitanya has appeared in this age to accept our, guess what? Sankirtan Yajna. So you don't have to perform any other yajnas, just the Sankirtan Yajna, chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Text 42. The demigod said, Dear Lord, formerly, when there was a devastation, you conserved all the different energies of the material manifestation. In other words, everything was put back into the body of the Lord. So he conserved, he protected it, he maintained it. At that time, all the inhabitants of the higher planets, represented by such liberated souls as Seneca were meditating on you by philosophical speculation. Whoa. You are therefore the original person, and you rest in the water of devastation on the bed of the Sasha snake. Now, today, you are visible to us, and who are all your servants. Please give us protection. Haribol, yeah, we should always ask the Lord to help us and to protect us so that we can always be engaged in Krishna consciousness. Purport. The devastation indicated in this verse is the partial devastation of the lower planets. So there are different devastations in the history of the world. Some are partial devastations, and there are some complete devastations. The devastation indicated in this verse is the partial devastation of the lower planets within the universe when Lord Brahma goes to sleep. The higher planetary systems, beginning with Maharloka, Janaloka, and Tapoloka, are not inundated at the time of this devastation. The Lord is the creator, as is indicated in this verse, because the energies of creation are manifested through his body, and after annihilation, he conserves all the energy within his abdomen. In other words, he protects all the energy within his abdomen. Another significant point in this verse is that the demigods said, "We are all your servants. Rityan, give us your protection." The demigods depend on the protection of Vishnu. They are not independent. Bhagavad Gita therefore condemns worship of the demigods because there is no need of it. It clearly states that only those who have lost their sense go asking favors of the demigods. Generally, if anyone has material desires to be fulfilled, he can ask Vishnu instead of going to the demigods. Those who worship demigods are not very intelligent. Besides that, the demigods say, "We are your eternal servants." So those who are servants or devotees of the Lord are not very much concerned with fruitive activities. The performance of the prescribed yagyas or mental speculation. I'm sorry. Besides that, the demigods say, "We are your eternal servants." So those who are servants or devotees of the Lord are not very much concerned with fruitive activities. The performance of the prescribed yagyas or mental speculation. So they're not interested in those three things. They simply serve the Supreme Personality Godhead sincerely. That's a very important statement. With love and faith, performing everything with that loving service. And the Lord gives such devotees direct protection. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, "Simply surrender unto me, and I will give you all protection from all the reactions of sinful activities." Okay, well, that's a major statement. This material world is so created that one has to act sinfully, knowingly or unknowingly. And unless his life is dedicated to Vishnu, he has to suffer all the reactions of sinful activities. But one who surrenders and dedicates his life to the service of the Lord has direct protection from the Lord. He has no fear of suffering from sinful activities, nor does he desire, willingly or unwillingly, to do anything which is sinful. So we understand what it means willingly, but unwillingly, yeah, everyone is considering everyone is committing sinful activities unwillingly. Simply walking down the street or driving your car or washing the dishes, you kill living entities. So you're not doing it purposefully, but it's still killing. And if you're not a devotee, you suffer for all that, let's say, unrealized killing. If you are a devotee and always chanting Hare Krishna, then you are not affected by that unwitting killing. But a person who's just an ordinary person who doesn't understand anything about Krishna consciousness, they are getting the karmic reaction for all the killing they're doing, let's say, unwittingly. And the word wit means you have knowledge. So when you're unwitting, that means you're doing things without knowledge. That's why it says willingly or unwillingly. So most people don't understand that they are suffering from sinful activities, nor does he desire willingly or unwillingly to do anything which is sinful. So we need to be protected by the Lord because we are unwillingly going to commit sins. Just driving a car uh, or washing the dishes or anything like that will be killing many living entities. We don't realize it. There are living entities that are so small you can't even see them, but they're there. So, what is the solution to that? Always chanting Hare Krishna and being very careful about how you do things. You don't want to unnecessarily kill living entities. Sometimes, people will see some ants in the kitchen. What do? They kill them. That's not a very good thing to do. That's sinful. Okay, so then what do you do with the ants? Well, what you do is, now there's a lot of little tricks that you can do. One is that you get some honey, or not maybe honey, but some other,
Sugar.
yeah, you get sugar. Because sugar is not sticky, right? And then you put it somewhere in the kitchen, and then you'll see all the ants go toward that. And then you scoop them up with, you put the sugar on some paper, and then when the ants go for the sugar, you scoop them up with the paper, and you take them outside into the backyard and let them free. So there are different ways to deal with the ants, but you don't want to kill the ants unnecessarily. You want to uh, trick them so that you can take them outside and throw them in the backyard. Okay, text 43. The Gandharva said, "Dear Lord, all the demigods, including Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, Indra, Maharishi, and the great sages are all only differentiated parts and parcels of your body. You are the supreme Almighty God, great, and the whole creation is just like a plaything for you. We always accept you as the supreme personality of Godhead, and we offer our respectful obeisances unto you. Well, that's what we should do, and that's what we do every day. We offer our respectful obeisances unto Krishna. In the Brahma Samhita, it is said that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchitananda Vigraha. There may be many gods, from Brahma, Lord Shiva, Indra, Chandra, down to the rulers of the lower planetary systems, the presidents, ministers, chairmen, and kings. In fact, anyone can think that he is God, like Trump. That is the false, puffed up conviction of material life. Actually, Vishnu is the Supreme Lord, but there is even one above Vishnu, for Vishnu is also the plenary portion of a part of Krishna. In this verse, this is referred to by the word samsa, which refers to part and parcel of a part and parcel. There are similar verses in the Chaitanya Charitamrita which indicate that the Supreme Lord's parts and parcels again expand into other parts and parcels. As described in Srimad Bhagavatam, there are many manifestations of Vishnu and many manifestations of living entities. Vishnu manifestations are called svamsa, partial manifestations, and the living entities are called vibhinamsa. The demigods, like Brahma and Indra, have been promoted to such exalted positions by pious activities and austerities. But actually, Vishnu, or Krishna, is the master of everyone. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said, Ekale Ishwara Krishna Ara Sabha Britya. This means that Krishna alone is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and all others, even the Vishnu Tattva, other expansions of Lord Vishnu, and certainly the living entities, are his servitors. Baladeva is the immediate expansion of Krishna. He also engages in the service of Krishna, and certainly the ordinary living entities are serving. Everyone is created constitutionally for serving Krishna. Here, the Gandharvas acknowledge that although the demigods may represent themselves as the supreme, actually Swayam is the statement of Srimad Bhagavatam. I'm sorry. Okay, real supremacy belongs to Krishna. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam is the statement of Srimad Bhagavatam. Krishna is the only Supreme Lord. Worship of Krishna alone, therefore, includes worship of all the parts and parcels, just as watering the root of the tree also waters all the branches, twigs, leaves, and flowers. In other words, what is being said here is simply by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra in this age of Kali Yuga, all spiritual, let's say, duties are satisfied. So If you don't do anything else but chant Hare Krishna, you are performing all the duties required for necessarily pleasing the Lord, because he loves to hear his name chanted sincerely by genuine devotees who also engage in his devotional service and offering nice uh, food to the Lord, chanting for the Lord, dancing for the Lord, glorifying the Lord with choice verses, and in every way focusing our mind on Krishna. And therefore it says in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Ekale Ishwara Krishna Arasava Britya. This means that Krishna alone is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and all others, even the Vishnu Tattva, and certainly the living entities, are his servitors. Okay, so this is what we have to understand. Baladeva is the immediate expansion of Krishna. He also engages in the service of Krishna. So Baladev is serving Krishna. That means we should all be serving Krishna. So those people that say, "Well, we serve, all the gods," they're nonsense people, and there's a lot of them. They're more nonsense people than serious people. But how can you serve all the gods? There are millions of so-called gods, and I mean demigods. So you can't serve all of them, but they will all be satisfied if you serve Krishna. So real supremacy belongs to Krishna. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam is the statement of Srimad Bhagavatam. Krishna is the only supreme Lord. Worship of Krishna alone, therefore, includes the worship of all the parts and parcels, just as watering the root of a tree also waters all the branches, twigs, leaves, and flowers. So we do not have to worship the demigods. But if you worship Krishna sincerely, all the demigods are satisfied. That's why it says here, worship of Krishna alone, therefore, includes worship of all the parts and parcels, meaning all the demigods and all living entities. Just as watering the root of a tree also waters all the branches, twigs, leaves, and flowers. So therefore, our only real, let's say, duty is to worship Lord Krishna. We don't have to worship every demigod. We don't have to worship uh, anything else except Lord Krishna. And everything else or everybody else will be satisfied. Ekale Ishwara Krishna Arasavabritya. This means that Krishna alone is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and all others, even the Vishnu Tattva, and certainly the living entities, are his servitors. Baladeva is the immediate expansion of Krishna. He also engages in the service of Krishna. Well, if he engaged in service of Krishna, that means that we should also. And certainly the ordinary living entities are serving. Everyone is created constitutionally for serving Krishna. That's the major statement. Everyone is created constitutionally for serving Krishna. Here, the Gandharvas acknowledge that although the demigods may represent themselves as the supreme, actually, they are not supreme. Real supremacy belongs to Krishna. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam is the statement of Srimad Bhagavatam. Krishna is the only supreme Lord. Worship of Krishna alone, therefore, includes worship of all the parts and parcels, just as watering the root of a tree also waters all the branches, twigs, leaves, and flowers. So therefore, every day we should recite Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. The real supremacy belongs to Krishna. Krishna is the only, excuse me, Supreme Lord. Worship of Krishna alone, therefore, includes worship of all the parts and parcels, meaning all the demigods, everything. Just as watering the root of a tree also waters all the branches, twigs, leaves, and flowers. Guess what? Prabhupada taught us to worship Krishna. And with great love and service. Therefore, we don't have to worship anyone else. One thing that happened previously was that people were worshiping a different deity every day. This is why the Muslims destroyed all the Hindu temples, and because at one point people were worshiping a different deity every day. So that means that 360 deities they were worshiping in the year. So what did the Muslims do? They destroyed all those deities, and they said you only worship Allah, but you're not allowed to make a effigy of Allah. I mean, effigy means you're not allowed to make a deity. You just worship Allah with your prayers. So that was a very, what we would call a very drastic thing that they did. But they wanted to prove that there's only one God. There's not many different gods. Whereas the Hindus at one time were worshiping a different God every day, or a different deity every day. And then eventually they limited the worship to only, I think, 5 deities. And that's what they're doing now also. So if you go to a Hindu temple, you'll see Ganesh, you'll see Krishna, you'll see Rama, and you'll see Shiva, Mother Durga, right? And someone is very rich, will give a big donation, and you'll see his grandmother also. That's just a joke. All right.
So I just wanted to, the 2 verses that were also referred in the previous purport, Maharaj, like in the 12th chapter, wherein why in the Kali Yuga, I think you said whatever was being achieved in the past can be achieved simply by Hare Krishna Mahamantra. This is the 12:3:52.
What's that?
The 12th canto, 3rd chapter, 52nd verse, has this verse that I think we typically quote, but I was this is one is talking about whatever result was obtained in Satya Yuga by meditating on Vishnu, in Treta Yuga by performing sacrifices, and in Dwapar Yuga by serving the Lord's lotus feet, can be obtained in Kali Yuga simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra.
Yes, very good.
So that is 12:3:52, and then
what is it? 12?
12:3:52.
Yeah. Okay.
Then in the connected with that and connecting with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the next verse, 11:5:32.
Yeah.
This is the one where it says, in the age of Kali, intelligent persons perform congregational chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead, who constantly sings the names of Krishna. Although his complexion is not blackish, he is Krishna himself. He is accompanied by his associates, servants, weapons, and confidential companions.
Yes. Very nice.
These two verses, I think, to establish that it's fully bona fide.
Well, his main statement is Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam, which says, Krishna is the only Supreme Lord. Worship of Krishna alone, therefore, includes worship of all the parts and parcels, meaning all other deities, just as watering the root of a tree also waters all the branches, twigs, leaves, and flowers. So, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. That is the real supremacy belongs to Krishna. That's our takeaway today. All day long, you can chant this mantra, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam.
Yeah, that's the verse number 1328. 1328.
Yeah, so whoever you see today, instead of saying hello, you say Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. They say, what? What did you say? Krishna is the only supreme personality of Godhead. Haribol. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Yeah. Okay. Krishna is the only supreme Lord. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Yes, we should take this very seriously. We should chant Hare Krishna, and also you can chant Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam.
So that's part of this verse. Ete chamsa kala pumsa Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam Indrari Vyakulam Vradayanti Yuge Yuge.
Yeah.
All incarnations mentioned here means before this, all the other incarnations were described.
Yeah.
And then Vyasdev writes this verse and then says all the incarnations mentioned here are either plenary portions or portions of the plenary portions of the Supreme Lord. But Lord Sri Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself.
Mm-hmm.
They appear whenever there is a disturbance created by the demons who challenge the authority of the Lord.
Right. And also, there's Ekaleshwara Krishna Arasabhavritya. This means that Krishna alone is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and all others, even the Vishnu Tattva and certainly the living entities, are his servitors. Baladeva is the immediate expansion of Krishna. He also engages in the service of Krishna, and certainly the ordinary living entities are serving. Everyone is created constitutionally for serving Krishna. Okay, that's our takeaway today. Everyone is created constitutionally for serving Krishna.
Mm.
And when it says Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam, it says real supremacy belongs to Krishna. Not to Shiva, not to Brahma, not to this one, and not to that one. Only to Krishna. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam is the statement of Srimad Bhagavatam. Krishna is the only Supreme Lord. Worship of Krishna alone, therefore, includes worship of all the parts and parcels, meaning all the other deities. Just as watering the root of a tree also waters all the branches, twigs, leaves, and flowers. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam Haribol. That's
so that statement is very powerful.
Yes.
Everyone is created constitutionally for serving Krishna.
What's that?
everyone is created.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
Constitutionally for serving Krishna, because that is true.
Yeah.
Creation happened for serving him, even the expansions of the other lords.
Yes. Ekaleshwara Krishna Arasabhritya. This means that Krishna alone is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and all others, even the Vishnu Tattva and certainly living entities, are his servitors.
I have a question.
Haribol. Yes, Abhi.
Maharaj, what is this part and parcels? What does it mean by that? Like part and parcels of Krishna, as in like what part of Krishna? Spiritually or materially?
It means that we are all parts of Krishna.
Yeah, I know.
And as a parcel, we're not equal to him. We're a part of him, right? So when it says it's part and parcel, that means that we're part of him, but we're never equal to him. We're parcel only. So we're not Krishna. But we are a part and parcel of Krishna. Yes.
So I was
just like your arm is a part and parcel of your body. It's not the whole body, but it's part of you. Yeah. Go ahead.
So I understand, Maharaj. My doubt was that I understand that we are part and parcel of Krishna. We are not equal to Krishna, but we are still part of Krishna. But I was confused on which part we are. Like my arm is part of my
Body.
My upper body.
Right.
So like.
And your toe is part of your lower body.
Yeah. So like what part are we of Krishna? Spiritually or material?
No, spiritually. Eternally. You're part and parcel of Krishna. Eternally. That's who you are. You're not independent of Krishna, even though you might act independently of Krishna, but still you're part and parcel of the Lord. That's eternal. So when you understand that, then you understand that you should be engaged always in the service of Krishna, because you are part and parcel of the Lord. You're not independent at any moment in your whole life. But so many people act independently and they get trapped in this cycle of karma. But when you really understand who you are part and parcel of Krishna. You're not Krishna, but you have many of the qualities of Krishna, up to 78%. You can develop up to 78% of the qualities of Krishna. So that means that you have many qualities that you share with Krishna, but you're not equal to Krishna. You can go up to 78% of the qualities of the Lord.
That's like the max.
Yeah. For, living entities. Most people, they never get, even to 78%, right? But a sincere devotee can go up to 78% as part and parcels of Krishna's transcendental qualities. We'll never be equal, but we can be submissive to the Lord and go up to what is possible, and that is 78% of the qualities of the Lord. We'll never be equal to Krishna. Yeah. So once you learn all these things, then now you understand who you are and what you are meant to do in life. Those are the two major issues that we have to solve as a human being. Who am I exactly? Well, I'm the eternal servant of the Lord. I'm the part and parcel of the Lord. I can go up to 78% of the Lord's qualities. Obviously, he has other qualities that I will never have, but if I'm surrendered to the Lord, then I can go up to 78% of his qualities. That's already a big accomplishment. And therefore, the devotee does not have the false ego to think he's equal to or greater than the Lord. He's always subordinate to the Lord. So someone who's a bully, like in school, there's always one guy or two guys that are bullies, right? They think they're equal to Krishna. And they go around bullying other kids. That is complete Maya. And such bullies, they eventually, have to suffer for acting in such a what you would call um, such a nasty way. Everyone is the servant of the Lord. There's no such thing of being a bully. That's demoniac activity. Instead of thinking that they can bully other kids, they should think, I'm the eternal servant of Krishna. I should be meek and humble and always be engaged in devotional service. The sooner a child learns that, the better. But they don't teach that in school, do they? Do you ever hear anything like that in school? No. That's why there are bullies in school and all kinds of nonsense people in the world. Therefore, we have to hear Srimad Bhagavatam on a regular basis, meaning every day, once or twice or three times a day, so that we stay on the good track back to God. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Whenever you see a bully, you understand this person is going to hell because they think they are Krishna. They can bully other people. Haribol. So our takeaway today is Ekale Ishwara Krishna Arasava Britya. This means that Krishna alone is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and all others, even the Vishnu Tattva, and certainly the living entities, are his servitors. Baladeva is the immediate expansion of Krishna. He also engages in the service of Krishna. And certainly the ordinary living entities are serving Krishna. Everyone is created constitutionally for serving Krishna. Wow. That's our takeaway today. Everyone is created constitutionally for serving Krishna. Okay. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Krishna is the only Supreme Lord. Worship of Krishna alone, therefore, includes worship of all the parts and parcels, meaning all the demigods, everybody, just as watering the root of a tree also waters all the branches, twigs, and leaves and flowers. So we only have to worship Lord Krishna with love and devotion. All other responsibilities and all other personalities will be satisfied. Hare Krishna. Any questions? Any comments about outside world, outside this room? Anybody have any questions
Anyone online?
or comments?
Any questions or comments? I think this whole particular chapters, set of chapters, help clarify how we should respect Lord Shiva, but at the same time understand his position in relation with the Supreme Lord Krishna.
Mhm.
And the whole hierarchy of everything is created only to please Krishna, to serve Krishna.
Yeah.
And specifically the only way we can please in the Kali Yuga is through Harinam Sankirtan.
Yes. You don't have to do anything else.
You don't have to do everything else. So I mean, these are the.
This is called the who's who. You're learning who is who.
Yes, and I think this because a lot of times when we preach also, these are the same arguments that keep coming. It's like at least we should be clear, why our parampara we follow this, because this is the bona fide parampara as
It's the
coming from the
truth.
Shastra. This is the actual truth. This is the highest
Yeah.
philosophy that way, because it's the actual essence of the entire Shastra. And we can also see how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is non-different from Krishna, because he had to come and give this wisdom. And
Well,
Shastra
it made everything easy,
easy.
right? Before, everything was complicated.
Yeah.
Brahma himself meditated for millions of years before he could see Krishna. But nowadays, by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, if you simply chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra sincerely, even once, you'll be liberated from the cycle of birth and death. That's how powerful the Maha Mantra is. But you have to be able to chant it sincerely, without any material desires, simply to glorify the Lord. See, that's the main thing. A prayer is glorification of the Lord. A prayer is not, please give me this, please give me that. It's not a gimme prayer. It's take me prayer, right? You glorify the transcendental qualities of the Lord. So therefore you have the Vishnu Sahasranam Sutra, right?
Yeah.
All glorification of the Lord. Yeah. Our main mantra is the Hare Krishna mantra. Then Sri Vaishnavas, they have the Vishnu Sahasranam Sutra. What is it? 1,008 names of the Lord.
Oh.
Yeah. We can, okay, what is it? It says, if you chant 3 times the name of Rama, it's equal to 1 time the name of Krishna. Something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this Hare Krishna mantra includes everything. If you just chant the Hare Krishna mantra, it includes everything. You don't have to chant all these other mantras. Now, what did Haridas Thakur do? He only chanted Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, almost 24 hours a day. So that's who we should follow. We're not going to be equal to Haridas Thakur, but we should follow his example. He was just chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, and he attained all perfection in life. So much so that when he was leaving his body, he was being hugged by Lord Chaitanya, and he was looking directly at the Lord when he left his body. So that's a very, very auspicious way to leave the body.
Yes.
Why? Because he was always chanting Hare Krishna.
I think there is a hand raised by Pranasaki Mataji as well as Nanda Maharaj Prabhu.
Okay.
And Shamakunda Devi. We have multiple hands raised. Go ahead, whoever wants to.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glorious to Srila Prabhupada. I wanted to ask you this question, like even though you covered it before, like after I raised hand, that we have to follow Vaishnavacharyas like Haridas Thakur. But my question is, um, if we face bully in our life, um, one option is to ignore it, and another option, which you have told me before, suffer without protest. Per Bhagavad Gita. Is there any other middle path?
Walk away. Avoid association with that person.
Thank you so much.
Paul. Yeah. Avoiding the association of the bullies is the best way. Right? Tolerating the nonsense of a bully, that is very discouraging over time. So you must avoid the association of bullies and people who are inimical to worshiping Lord Krishna. I mean, openly inimical.
And does this same goes for if a person is envy from you, or bully and envy differ? Like you know that that person is envious. So what's the strategy there?
Avoid their association.
Thank you so much, Guru Maharaj.
Haribol.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, just
Yes,
a follow-up question.
yeah.
If that is happening in the workplace or where you are studying or workplace,
Yeah.
we don't have a choice, right? We need to work with them. In that case, what to do, Maharaj?
To be humble and meek and not get into any arguments with those people and to just ignore their abusive behavior. Eventually, they're going to get caught by other persons complaining to the higher authorities in that company. You see, when you give freedom to a bully, he will cut his own throat by his misbehavior. So you don't have to be the judge and jury of that person. You just have to be patient and tolerant. Because if he's treating you very badly and he thinks that he can get away with it, that means he's going to do the same thing to others and he's going to get caught by others. So you don't have to really do anything other than maintain control of your mind and senses and keep them focused on Krishna. You don't have to be the judge and the jury. You have to be a person completely dedicated and surrendered to Krishna. And Krishna is going to protect you. And that nonsense person will be taken care of by others. Because you can't hide the misbehavior of a bully. So if you give the bully freedom to think that they can bully others and get away with it, they're going to get smashed in a very short time.
Yeah. Yes, Maharaj, what they do, actually, people who are little more powerful, in the organization, they establish a connection and they start bullying others. That's what they do. Because they take the senior management, they will be very soft with the senior management, and when they are interacting with other time, they will be very bullying. That's what they do usually. They will act very smart in that way.
It's not smart and very dumb. They will get caught. You can't, you see, you can fool some of the people some of the time, but not all people all the time. So they're going to get caught. You just be patient. They're going to cut their own throats. So if you give them freedom, they will rather quickly cut their own throat. If you fight with them, then you get contaminated. So it's rather than fighting with them, you should pray for their, let's say, welfare and not be intimidated because you have complete faith in Krishna. So therefore, there's going to be a waiting period. Either that person rectifies himself or he wrecks himself. That's nice. Either he rectifies himself or he wrecks himself. So you don't have to be the judge and the jury. You just continue doing your honest and humble work, regardless of the harassment that you might be having. But you have to have faith in Krishna to do that. If someone is bullying you and you're not, let's say, objecting, then they're going to bully others and they're going to get caught. So you don't have to be the judge and the jury. You just have to be focused on serving Krishna with love and devotion. If you want to become the judge and the jury, you get entangled in the laws of karma. But if you tolerate things, then you will not be caught up by the laws of karma. And those who are not acting properly, they're going to get caught. Other people will not be as kind or as gentle or as patient as you. And so you don't have to be the judge and the jury.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
So, Guru Maharaj, a follow-up question, because the office situation Prabhuji brought. So, because like I'm working in the same role for almost 8 years, and I do invite him and his family to the temple. So there is and even in my home program. So now the background is like I was working in background for all these 8 years, and suddenly I'm the nail which is sticking out as leadership, as talking very powerfully and leadership talks. Now, and I'm basically using powerful talks for others in the meeting, showcasing what value they're adding. I showed even my idea as his achievement. Even still, he's not like he's not relenting. He's like having grudges because he's too much
Well, you
envy.
lost your job, right?
I am trying something because the end date is not known. It's soon, so I'm trying something. Yeah, it's kind of it's not that fully end, but even though I tried, it's like so much backlash is coming because of where I'm standing. So I think I like the idea of the only idea is praying for the welfare and just wait.
Yes.
Yeah, even if even if I wanted him to be
Yeah,
Krishna.
but you want to do your duties with full, let's say, attention and maintain a high profile of being an effective or a loyal worker in that company.
Sure. So even though I used whatever was my idea and I showed it as his achievement, even that didn't make him relent. So that means all I have to do is just do my duties and avoid association and avoid much.
Avoid conflict. Avoid conflict. You don't want to get into arguments with people. You want to do your duty with humility and kindness and not get angry or argue or anything like that.
Thank you so much, Guru.
Haribol.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Krishna.
What happens if like some bad people are saying bad things about you, and then your good friends get to know that, and then they think bad about you as well? How should I react?
Take complete shelter of Krishna by chanting more and reading more and taking more engagement in devotional service and hearing lectures, so that the abusive words and behavior of other people doesn't touch you. But if you just focus on the abusive words and behavior of people, it'll destroy you. And that's what they want. They want to control you by their bad behavior. But if you always forgive them and just continue in your Krishna consciousness with a clean mind, now you're not thinking of those people at all. You're simply focusing on Krishna. What those type of people want to do is take your focus away from Krishna and make you think always about the bad behavior of certain people. You don't want to do that. You want to forgive them and continue meditating on Krishna. What bad people want to do is take your mind away from God and make you think all the time about them and their bad behavior. Then you get into a bad psychological state of either fear or anger or envy, and it destroys your Krishna consciousness. You should not be influenced by other people's good or bad behavior. Well, bad behavior. You should always take shelter in Krishna, pray for the welfare of others, and continue in whatever your service is in Krishna consciousness and also in your workplace. And also, you have to realize sometimes you will be successful and sometimes you will be a failure. But failure is the stepping stone for success. You should not be afraid of failure. Everyone is going to be a failure ultimately. We're all going to get old, sick, and die. But we should not be afraid of that. We should have complete faith in Krishna by not losing our faith in Krishna and always engaging in devotional service and always being kind and gentle with others, even if others are not kind and gentle with you.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. Okay, my dear devotees, thank you very much. Please chant Hare Krishna and be happy. And our takeaway for today is the following. Real supremacy belongs to Krishna. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam is a statement of Srimad Bhagavatam. Krishna is the only Supreme Lord. Worship of Krishna alone, therefore, includes worship of all the parts and parcels, in other words, of all the demigods and everyone else. Just as watering the root of a tree also waters all the branches, twigs, leaves, and flowers. So therefore, you don't have to worship every different person or thing. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Krishna is the only Supreme Lord. Worship of Krishna alone, therefore, includes worship of all the parts and parcels. Just as watering the root of a tree also waters all the branches, twigs, leaves, and flowers. So, our takeaway today, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Krishna is the only Supreme Lord. Worship of Krishna alone, therefore, includes worship of all the parts and parcels. Haribol.
Hare Krishna.